So I noticed you draw a lot of influence from major artists like Rihanna or Kanye. How does mainstream music influence your music or your ideas behind the music industry?
I think mainstream artists influence my attitude more than my actual musical output.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I value people like Rihanna or Kanye or Beyonce because I grew up. I didn't grow up on Rihanna. I'm older than Rihanna, but but I saw them go from point A to point B, and I paid more attention to that in regards to their music because I'm not really a fan of their music. Like, I can't, and other than Kanye, because Kanye is fucking weird. People don't give him enough credit for being just fucking weird, and it, I don't know. I've seen videos of him in the studio, and he's fucking weird. He's like Quincy Jones, and like who talked? It was Jay-Z that talked about this. He said they were doing I think Run This Town. They said they were in the studio for 6 hours straight, and Jay-Z doesn't write his verses. He freestyles everything. But Kanye made him go back and do his verse. I don't know how many times because he didn't like the way he was pronouncing one word.
Mm.
And Quincy Jones used to do that to Michael Jackson all the time.
Really?
Yeah, and Michael Jackson fucking hated that shit. He's like, I can't work like this. Like, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I have no caffeine. What's going on? I'm like, Michael Jackson, you don't eat anyway. Anyway, so like, but also the way that Kanye samples music is really brilliant, and I like that he admits that he doesn't really know the music that he's sampling until he samples it. And a lot of producers don't want to admit that. But as far as like his attitude, I love it. I love it when people who are people are rich enough in a creative space to not have to give a fuck what the public thinks. I guess when I was a kid, like, I listened to a lot of pop music, so I feel like I've digested enough of it to focus more on the attitude behind it rather than just what it sounds like. So when people are like, "Oh, this song is amazing because they wrote it themselves," I'm like, "Okay, great. Everybody does that. Next." Like, guess what you're supposed to do, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know. I was a visual artist my whole life, so like, I would always draw album covers for albums that didn't exist. But I would like have the playlist in my head and I'd be playing the stuff. But I'm not trained in any instrument other than drums. If I hear a song that I like or a record that I think is really interesting or the packaging, that always had a really big impact on me. And I think Warp Records, which is I think they're out of Sheffield. They're out of England, but the design company that they worked with was the Designers Republic, and they had Ian Anderson and Michael C. Place and people like that. And I always like thought their packaging was better than anything I'd ever seen ever. So I would always try to emulate that by drawing it because I didn't have a computer until I was in e-school. So
Until what?
until I was in e-school.
E-school?
Yeah, because I got kicked out of middle school.
Nice. Hey.